Welcome back to the channel. I am Captain Tom Mengesha, United States Army retired and the former adjutant for Base Support Battalion North out of Camp Buehring, Kuwait. Folks, today we're going to talk about something that every future service member needs to understand, and that is the real reason, requirements, and expectations to join the military in 2026. Now forget the rumors, forget the myths, forget what your cousin Pookie or Ray Ray may have told you. I'm going to give you the real deal from the perspective of someone who's reviewed many applications and talked to many people that wanted to join the military. Now, let's go ahead and start with the age requirements. The Army, you have between the ages of 17 to 35. That's one of the most common questions they ask is, when is the age requirements to join? The Navy, it's 17 to 39. In the Air Force, it's 17 to 39 as well. The Marines is 17 through 28, and the Space Force is 17 through 39. Now, you may wonder why the great discrepancies between the Marine Corps from the age of 17 to 28 and the Army, or actually even the Space Force, with almost a 10-year, actually 11-year extension in the time. And I can surmise, and not just surmise, but tell you factually, the requirements, physical requirements, are much more strenuous with the Marine Corps. So that is one of the main questions that people ask. I know when I joined the military way back when, I actually signed up at 17. And by the way, if you're 17, you must sign with parental consent. So I joined during the delayed entry program where I signed up my senior year of high school. I was 17 years old. My father had to sign. Otherwise, you can just go in yourself. So if you're older than you think, don't count yourself out just yet. Now, to join the military, you must take the ASVAB. Now, here are the typical minimum AFQT scores that are needed. In the Army, and by the way, the ASVAB, just to kind of break it down to folks, the ASVAB is similar to what could be known as the SAT score to go to college, but these are the minimum scores that you need to join the various branches. Army, you need a 31. The Marine Corps requires a 32 minimum AFQT score. The Navy, 35. And the Air Force has the highest of 36. And then you have the Space Force, which has requirement of 40 plus because they are highly technical. You know, you can't have somebody flying around space in the Enterprise with a low AFQT score. So the Air Force has the highest AFQT score minimum requirements of 40. So once again, the Army requires a 31, Marine Corps requires a 32, Navy requires 35, Air Force requires 36, and Space Force 40. But keep this in mind, the higher score, the better job options you get. Remember, that's just the minimum. And then once you're in there, you look at the job that you want and the needs of the military and so on and so forth. But think of the higher score of wanting to go into Harvard. You know, you might have enough to get into any university, but the higher score you get, you know, the chances of you getting into Harvard or getting a career field in the Space Force are much higher. Now let's talk about the medical requirements to join the military. Now, this is where things trip up a lot of people. MEPS is looking at everything, and MEPS is the medical examination processing system that looks at your health. And they're going to look at everything from your vision, your hearing. They're going to check for asthma, ADHD, surgeries, allergies, mental health, and even dental issues will be reviewed. The most common disqualifiers include asthma after the age of 13, untreated ADHD, it's key, untreated, major orthopedic surgeries, hearing loss, certain mental health diagnoses, drug use with documented dependencies. But, and this is important, some things can receive waivers. So even if you may have some issues, talk to your recruiter, and they're going to have the most up-to-date information on some of these most common disqualifiers. Physical fitness is another requirement. Fitness standards vary by branch, but all require the ability to run, do push-ups, that core strength, and height and weight standards. So even if you're slightly out of shape, what you need to do is start now. You'll thank yourself later. Another thing that they're going to look at when joining the military, prior to being able to join the military, is background checks. The military conducts a full background check. It's called a national agency check. Things that will absolutely hurt you: felonies, domestic violence charges, multiple drug offenses, major theft or fraud. Things that usually don't really trip you up so much are things like speeding ticket, old minor offenses, and old is relative, so you want to make sure you check with the recruiter, and mistakes from years ago. Honesty is the key. Always remember that. Honesty is the key. Tell your recruiter everything. Because what's going to happen if they find out about it? That's really going to harm you. So if you're preparing to join the military in 2026, now is the time to get your paperwork, fitness, and ASVAB prep in order. So if you liked what you heard, go ahead and leave a comment down below. And for those of you all who have served and you would like to give some advice on folks that want to join the military, go ahead and leave a comment down below to help guide these future service members on their journey through their military career. So with that, go ahead and like, subscribe for next videos in this series. And with that, I wish you all blessings and blessings. Shalom.